We are afraid to think out of the box, or somehow we are limited to think out of the box, especially the great gurus that are already qualified to can utter their mind in a way that they can transform the entire SANDF in a very profitable manner. Because right now what I came to realize is that SANDF has been manipulated in such a way that in 1994 the creeds of the warrant officers, the creeds of the officers, and the creeds of the NCOs were changed in a way that they limit them to an extent of never being able to express their mind in a transformative way, to can initiate a standard of SANDF in a way that everything will be as excellent as it should be for each and everyone. Whenever the order comes from above, it is just taken as so, simply because the creed has been initiated to all those powerful people that should either argue against it, refuse it, or condemn it. But the inability to do so is created by the level of how much promotions came as a way they seemed like a blessing with a little bit of a financial increment, while it doesn't even meet the needs of those in need. Now I want you to understand the manipulation of security, especially the SANDF. It was created in such a way that in 1994, when they allowed a commander-in-chief to be in control of the SANDF, it was a simple manipulation to ensure that everything is now going to be politically structured. No matter how much the defense can be as defensive as it should be, it will only have barriers where it cannot be able to reach out and extend their hand to initiate the safety and the security that is necessary. So this made me realize that the reason why a crime has increased in such a way that it seems like, or it feels like, the defense force is not even in control anymore. You can even check by the level of our weapons. We have been highly manipulated to an extent that we are only able to use SAR, which is South African rifle, a very weakest weapon ever to ever exist and can be used by soldiers. We don't even get a chance to train AK-47 weapons that are very much essentially powerful for the defense of the country. So this should make you aware that the civilian security companies that are mostly owned or side owned by the political gurus have been made to be the escalated security factors, so that the ins and outs of all corrupt resources, illegal things can easily go in and out without the obligation of the defense in a way that it should be. So I need us to come to this point of understanding that until the defense force gets its authority back in a way that it was when it was SADF, at that time we knew it was an independent organization that was responsible for making sure that the political runs of the country are essentially. It is the same as police. There was a time it was force. It is also manipulated in such a way that it ended up being services. The moment they brought services into the forces of defense, that's when they knew very well, Ore, we will have them by the balls, because the only thing they will need to do right now is to keep busy implementing services instead of forcefully implementing protection for the well-being of the country. So the manipulation of the defense was an effect by which it was well understood that as long as it is after 1994, they are only going to serve, which the MSDS services have brought the implication of bringing the disordered, unwell-trained, bad and unable soldiers, not because they are bad, but simply because the resources have been reduced to the level that every soldier they make still has the civilian mentality within themselves. So I want us to understand that our level of authority is based on the level of how much we can stand firm. And you must remember, I'm saying this from a very open book of understanding, that soldiers have been made to never be able to strike, because they know once we can initiate a strike as soldiers, we will greatly do whatever we want to do and stop whatever we want to stop. And most certainly, we realize that powerful weapons are owned by taxi associations, are owned by private security companies, and most of the security companies are not even owned by South African citizens. They are just using faces of South African citizens as owners of those security companies while they are foreign owned. But we don't need to see that simply because if I am hungry and somebody comes to give me money, I will obviously fall for it because I am hungry. You come and check how much we are getting paid, you come to realize, or no, this is unfair. This is foolish and stupid. How do you give the person who is supposed to secure the country such a small amount of money? Isn't it a way for them to know, or if we want to buy ourselves into their own systems, we can easily do so? Yes, it can easily be done, because whenever you find yourself struggling, money is the only initiating factor that can waken each and every individual into whatever an enemy wants them to be. It's easy. The same way it happens in the eastern countries, where there they know, or if we fund the rebels, we can easily get to implicate and complicate the standards of those African eastern countries to never be as profitable as they should be. Why? Simply because it is the need of money that makes them obey the voice of the enemy against the voice of their brothers and sisters, as the way for them to also be independent, because they politically fund and they rebelliously fund. The moment they do that, it can be one person funding two people, like one person playing a chessboard by himself. He has the white side and he also has the black side. When he pushes this one, he also pushes the other side, just to implement a complication that will make them easily get through and get whatever resources they need. So I need people to understand. I'm saying this from the level of understanding that our country is going deep in the pit, and if we are not getting on the game to make it work, we are not going to be as best as we should be. And I'm telling you, there's a book I've written. It is called Last Hope, Disappointed in the SANDF. I just haven't found a chance to publish it. I need it to pass through right hands before I publish it, right minds before I publish it, especially those in the defense force. It's completely written and edited. The covers are there. It just needs to be implemented as a rectification plan for the defense to be as effective as it should be, for the defense to be restored back to its original glory. Because if you check the slogans of 2 years back, now it has been developing in a way that it develops to say maintaining the order in order to restore the dignity of SANDF to its original glory. That is to say, if we want to restore it to its original glory, we must come to the point of being as truthful as we should be. Especially Rena Bailongorenge, we never obliged to any creeds. You understand? Promoted early. Because if you get promoted early, the implication of your promotion is the creed that you get whenever you get into the order of being that. Nage code of conduct mara aina mata manchi, because I am not violating the rights of anyone. I'm just giving my thoughts on my freedom of speech based on the level of how much I think and I believe if SANDF can act through these orders and through this plan, we can implement the structure that can restore not only the SANDF but South Africa as a whole to its original factor of being as fruitful and being as profitable as it should be. We have investors that are intending to invest in us, but because of the manipulation of security, they are unable to do that. You understand? So if we restore the defense, start with it. Then from there, go into the country to see what we can do. We can simply restore it and make it as best as everybody will need to come and invest in our country for the well-being of each and every individual. This is to say, we have the capacity to change everything for the best. We have the capacity to restore employment to its highest extent, because you must remember, soldiers don't necessarily need matric to become soldiers. To be trained into a soldier that can stand guard, you don't need matric. But